I don't eat street food and stuff like that. Well, my mom thinks I'm crazy.
You're serious? Okay.
Right. I'm like the kid you really don't want to have. Yeah. I promise you.
Not
Is
only
it good?
the kid you don't want to have, also the podcast host.
Yeah, the same podcast host you don't want to have. Is it good? Is it? Frame is good?
Yeah.
All right, perfect?
Yeah, I like
Does he look gorgeous and bougie?
Oh, it's the lighting, guys.
That's the lighting.
It's good lighting.
It is
Yeah.
the lighting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you a secret about the lighting. We actually stole it from someone we never gave it back to.
It's called borrowing and he never asked for it.
Yeah. That's a nice term.
Trusted the wrong people.
Yes.
That's a nice term. But since we're live, let's not expose ourselves to the public.
Yes.
Welcome on another Monday. Before I just welcome you guys, I'm really tired of welcoming people on every evening show. I could use a break after this. However, welcome on another Monday evening show and also podcast with me, Ahmed Chain and Shahada. Big shout outs to you, Shahada.
What's up, man?
Yeah, good to see you again, like every day.
Oh, good to see you again.
Yeah.
We need to expand our friendship outside the podcast.
I'm telling you, we should move in together.
Oh.
That's it. And we got a great guest with us today, Amira Shohdi.
Thank you for having me.
Big shout outs to her, and I'm so
you.
glad you're here.
Same here. It's great to meet you guys. Good to be here.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thanks for the mic. Can I
Yes.
do I get to keep it?
Yes, you get to keep it until we finish the podcast.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And then you will take all the pictures you want of it.
And then you put
Can
it
I
back
borrow it and give it back to you when you ask for it?
Yes, sure, yeah.
again. Look, you know what? Doha is not making that great money, so we can't afford to print.
You throwing mugs at every guest.
We can't do that. That's a lot of money.
Well, since she asked for it, I think we can afford give her one.
You sure?
Maybe
sure I
I
can
will
offer you
count how
something
many
in
mugs
return.
we have and then...
Wonderful.
Okay, Osama, we have an order.
By the way, the first time, before you came, he asked me, he's like, how did you meet Amira? And I was like, no, I never met her. And he was really curious because I never told him how I found you. He's like, what
Yeah.
search were you on? Was it music?
Like, what Instagram hashtag were you following?
Serious, yeah.
That made the server suggest that you follow
But
him.
it wasn't a hashtag, was it?
Yeah.
It wasn't a hashtag, actually. My friend, big shout outs to her, Manar, who's also my colleague at work. She's like, she's a big fan of you. She sent me a message. She's like, Shaheen, if you don't get this woman on your show,
Thank you.
you know, I'm gonna go ham on you. You know
Thank
what I
you.
mean? So I just
Yes.
like, I wrote it to me, slid on the DM, and I was like, hey man, listen, you really have to be on our show.
It's empowering to have a woman kind of empower another woman through something like that. It's not something you see so often,
Yeah.
so I appreciate it.
True,
Thank you.
true. So we're not going to talk to you as Amira today. We're all about
Yes.
I Can't Do It All movement.
Great, yes.
Yeah.
So the I Can't Do It All, I started this movement about almost 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it had come at a climax where I kind of had enough of things that I've been putting myself through
Yeah.
for the past couple of years. And one day I'm just like, I wonder if anyone else feels this way. I wonder if there are other women out there who are having nervous breakdowns but are smiling through it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You seem like a happy kid, though.
I seem like a happy kid. That is.
I am judging the book by its cover, you know what I mean? But
I mean, happy is one thing, but
Yeah.
Emotionally healthy and stable is another.
that's a deep one. I'm
That's
learning.
deep. Yeah, so let's listen now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's the second thing other than happy?
Emotionally and healthy, stable.
Emotionally and
So
healthy.
I think I'm not healthy because I was at the doctor
Yeah?
yesterday, yeah,
Are
and
you
he said,
okay?
Ahmed, yani, I know that you eat all the things, but you have to eat the things that your friends eat, yeah.
Yeah.
The things that don't taste anything.
Just for your information, he didn't know what kale is, by the way.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, she doesn't know what kale is.
You don't know what
yeah.
kale is?
She
Is it like
didn't grow up.
porridge? Is it like?
It's
It's a
vegetable.
fruit.
It's a vegetable.
It's a vegetable.
I'm sorry, wait, you don't know what kale is?
I'm really right now. I mean, maybe I know what. When I see it, I'll know.
Okay, well, however, it's something like broccoli, something healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 It's
Well,
not
the
like-
producers in the back, they're like, no, it's not a chain. However, but yeah, so I really wanted to ask you, don't tell me I was going through emotional breakdown.
Yes.
You know, sometimes when we get people on the podcast, we really
Yes.
want to know the real deal, the real story.
It was. I've been kind of going through this phase where there's been reoccurring stress at work, which everybody has. That's
Yeah.
normal. And then there's also stress of working out because push myself. I try to work out 2 times a day, and each workout's about an hour and a half. I wake up at 4:30 so I can work out before work and work out after work, and then there's the hassle of going home and maintaining life, and then there's my mom calling me every other day saying, when are you going to have kids, and when are you going to buy an apartment here, when are you going to invest there, what's happening? So I was like, it's too much. It's, you know, it's too much. And I'm like, that's when I was like, I need to talk to someone. And I feel like with social media, we don't have enough proper, genuine interaction. There's a lot of likes, there's a lot of follows, but there's a lot of stalking, but there's no hellos. There's no
enough complaining, or
not complaining, but reaching out to someone. I've had a lot of people reach out to me where they wanted. I've done. I used to do a lot of videos where I talk about depression or a lot of emotional issues, breakups, marriages, divorce, all these kind of things. And I'd have people genuinely reach out to me and go, I was gonna kill myself yesterday. Can you just talk to me? Just be with me for a couple of hours. Yeah.
You know, you're really jumping me all the way to the middle, but
sorry.
Yeah, but because I really wanted to ask you that about the kind of people that you get, you know, from interaction, from the movement and stuff. But before that, I've seen at your page that you're a novelist, blogger, also a model.
Yes.
Like, you have a lot of stuff on your bio, you know what I mean? So.
Yes, it's also part of the problem is I do a lot of things, but I'm really trying to figure out where it is that I fit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectations for myself is I love fashion, I love to write, and I have a corporate life, and I have a family that I'm supposed to be starting because they're telling me that the clock's ticking, but I really still don't know where I want to be.
Okay.
So that's,
You know what, you remember that, I remember reading this and he said social media is really defining our careers in life, or
correct,
or what are we in life, and you go on someone's bio, he's like an adventurer, a foodie, animal lover, traveler, pianist, leftist, wingist. I'm like, okay, calm down, you know what I mean? I don't even need to talk to you anymore, I know who you are. But like seeing all this and going through your pictures and going through, because I spent a minute, you know, I had to know who's Amira is behind the pictures. You seem like a very energetic, lively person who has a balance between corporate life and also life itself. You know what I mean? Because I've met a lot of people in the corporate industry. They're miserable. I can't curse, right? But they're miserable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So.
Well, I used to be one of those people up to maybe a couple of months ago, but that's also because I was graced with 2 previous horrible bosses, and it was, I thought several times about quitting, but I thought I'm not a quitter. I'm gonna stick this through, and I did. And luckily enough, we now have a boss who allows me to work on the projects I like, and allows me to have life after work, where he's not calling me up in weekends and calling me after work. And it's hard to balance it, because when you juggle work, and I have all these hobbies after work, with social media as a commitment, you guys know, especially if you want to do something serious and you want to have some sort of career. So when you do all that, there's also family. They're sitting there, leave the phone, don't talk to this, do that, spend time with us. That's really hard. Like, I want all these things. I can't have them all the time.
So then balance becomes the biggest obsession, you know?
Exactly.
And corporate stress.
Yes. And then family.
And family.
And then you have your health, and you have all these people on Instagram who are like working out, and they have it all together. And
then the friends who you haven't seen a long time. Yes.
The family members you never call to, or ask about. Like, you know how many times I feel really bad about being on the internet and asking people to talk to each other. And my dad goes, well, you don't talk to your grandpa enough. And I'm like,
all right. Then comes the holidays.
Yes.
It
hurts.
So how did you try to, everybody goes through that, and some people get to educate themselves how to tackle each thing separately.
Yes.
And so what are you doing about this right now?
So the first thing I'm doing is I'm being honest with myself. What is it?
Step 1.
Yes, be honest with yourself. What do you want to do? What are your priorities? Is it your job, your family, or your fitness, or whatever? You have to really prioritize. So it goes family, and you go, yes, but then you have to work. So you go, okay, but you can't become a workaholic. So first it was me tackling these things. For example, a few days ago I decided to go offline, just be away from social media.
Yeah, it happens.
I know, I was actually texting her. I was like, why is she responding?
Yes. I told my husband, I'm like, listen, if Shaheen texts, you respond and tell, because I'm just so sick of being on my phone all the time. It's so addictive.
Well, it made me thought of my bill. I called the read. I was like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Did I pay? Is that $350 again? What's wrong with you?
No,
Started doing this on air, you know what I
it's
mean?
really addictive, and I want to start controlling it because it's controlling me. I want to be like, I'm going to check it twice a day. I'm going to only respond to messages. I'm not going to keep scrolling endlessly through this feed where I'm not gaining anything.
Yes.
So social, it's as much as I think there's so much good that comes out of it, there's so much bad.
Okay.
You know, there's also the stress when you post something and you want to see, oh, did they see it?
Yes, did they like it? Why did I get less likes?
Yeah, why did nobody DM me and tell me what he thought about this?
Yes, but that's the thing with the movement is that when I first started, people were like, why don't you change the name? It has negative connotations. I can't do it all, really. And I'm like, then you don't get it. It is a negative, it's not a negative thing to admit that I can't do it all, and I definitely can't do it all on my own. So if you want to change the name, you go ahead and make your own movement. But this is serious, and I don't care if we have 1 follower. I don't care if I have 1 million. But it's about the outreach. And
Yeah, I think it's good to start with honesty. I cannot do it all.
I cannot do it all.
all.
And I definitely can't do it on my own. So many women think they can juggle everything, but it's
Somehow contradicts the idea of independency somehow.
yeah. I mean, independence is one thing, but having to carry the load of yours and everyone around you is something else. So I know so many women who work and support their families completely on their own, and they'd have to be in corporate world and be bosses in the morning and come back and be moms in the evening and have no help. So
Even in the household and stuff.
yes, everything.
Even in the
Yes,
household.
it's the
This takes me to this question that I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
Your movement.
Yes.
Is it a pure feminist movement or related to any feminism school, or just the struggle took you to that?
not necessarily a feminist movement. No, it's just the struggle, and I know so many other women are struggling. I never heard a guy that I know talk about, oh, I'm exhausted juggling it all. I've heard women say.
You really never hanged out with Shaheen and Shahada, have you?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
we call it the podcast treatment.
You really didn't hang out with us, huh? All right, on Mondays from 6 to 7, we're available.
Okay.
You'll see all the complaints in the world, and you change that movement to, men can't do
You're
it all. They don't-
You're gonna be like, whoa, I'm doing so great.
I'll be like, I can't do
I'm
it.
gonna shut down the movement.
Shaheen's doing it. I'm gonna do it.
Trust me.
They can't do it and he can't do it, so I can
So
do
it's
it.
doable.
Wallah.
But it's hard, especially for women who have kids,
Yes.
who have to go back home and cook and then work out and then have time to sit with their husbands and be like, yeah.
Yeah, we always talked about it. It's just falling into people's expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot of so you're at work, you're at home, you're at social media, and you have your own expectations, and you fall into those expectations.
Yeah.
Your work wants you to be like this. So
Yes.
when you're at work, you're thinking about home.
Correct.
When you're at home, you're thinking about work. When you're social media, you think about social media because
Yes.
it's a drug.
Yeah.
It's the one that makes you go away.
Yeah.
And then when you now you're starting the movement. While you're on the movement, you're thinking about, oh, maybe there's the other things.
Yeah.
People who didn't see you in a long time.
Yes, yeah.
People telling you. So falling into people's expectations or falling to expectations, it always comes back to step one.
Yeah.
Honesty.
Yes. No,
And
I
then
agree.
priorities.
Yeah.
And then you start achieving things, and then you will feel the fruit of achieving,
Yeah.
so that you will keep doing it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And then when you achieve things, you will know, okay, maybe I don't want that much.
Yeah. It's hard to be honest with yourself sometimes
Yes,
because
and
you
maybe
have to
those friends are boring.
Yeah.
You know? Khalas. I like to be with my family, my husband more. You
Yeah,
know? So like
yeah.
your friends will become once a month. Or
Yes.
like, and then maybe you will see, you're having a very good interaction with the I cannot do it also.
Yeah, interaction for me is best. I mean, if you have 1 million followers but no one's talking to you, what's
True.
the point? But the thing is, my problem, when I usually tackle an issue, I don't just tackle it where I am now, but how I arrived to it. So a lot of the pressure that we're facing is because of things that have been embedded and instilled in us while we were little girls. You gotta grow up, have a family, graduate, get a job, and then have kids, and you're like, but that's, it's, you have to be an independent woman. you have to get married, and you have to have kids. You have to be a great mom. Don't make mistakes. You have a reputation to maintain. And I'm like, I'm not hearing anyone telling the guys these things. It's just the frequency of the things that we're being told. Don't laugh like this. Don't talk like this. Don't dress like this. It's too much. It's too much.
A couple of weeks ago, we had an episode with a fellow called G. Valentino, the mysterious man in Qatar. The question of the show was, what is it like to be a man in 2018? And honestly, the trigger for us to make that episode was me and him, we felt pressured as men in 2018 to actually be free. There's a lot of, it takes me also to another question I wanted to ask you, but because when I want to talk about an issue, I don't like to categorize a certain kind of struggle for like a certain kind of gender or ethnic group. I like to somehow look at the broader picture. If we're struggling, we're all struggling as men, women, as humans, you know what I mean? Civilization doesn't really look at you if you're a man or a woman. It somehow puts burdens on both of you. Being a man in 2018 is absolutely hard because there's a lot of expectations or expected from you as a man, especially as an Arab man. Like, they expect you to be successful from university, to graduate, get a job. You can't even actually propose to a woman if you don't have a decent income. You can't even like sit with her parents. They'll probably look at you and be like, go buy a cat. You know what I mean? It's actually hard. Paying rent, the idea of also modernization of you as a young man. A lot of women would actually refuse to be with you as a man if you're not well traveled, if you're not well met. You know what I mean? If you don't even have the accessibility to actually
if you can't dance,
if you don't even dress in a certain way.
I hear what you're saying.
No, really, like there's a lot of pressure. Like as an Arab guy, somehow facing two schools, which is a cultural conventional school, which is our previous generation, and then modernization of you falling into this cosmopolitan or globalization negative term. I like to say that you as an Arab man, you have to be a bit open-minded, you have to be liberal. You don't know how to handle a new house marriage. Okay, should I be that liberal? Should I be conventional? Okay, if I'm too conventional, is she gonna respect me? If I'm too, you know what I mean? So,
exactly. I hear you.
Like, you know what I mean? You start calling Shahada 12 and like, what should I do? You know what I mean? And Shahada be like, just move to America, man. You know what I mean? That's the best advice that he'd always give you. Just be an immigrant, man. And I'm like,
immigrant.
Yeah. So, no, really.
Well,
Be a minority where people sympathize for you, you know?
Exactly, as a minority. Go there and just be like, look, you're brown, you're Arab, you're Muslim. That's like 3 in 1, you know what I mean? That's good for you.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right. Not all cases apply. I mean, I've had women get back to me when they saw the movement and they went, well, I'm not doing it all. I'm getting help from everybody. I'm good. I'm like, well, I'm not talking to you. Good for you. But it's like it's like reaching out to someone who's sick, and you have the healthy ones going, well, no, I'm okay. Well, it's good you're okay. Why don't you start talking to the rest of the people who are not okay? It's not a competition. But it's also about, it's just that, especially in the Middle East, even if I can understand that guys, of course, have their own pressures and there are expectations, but you're still kind of, most families raised with a certain freedom to do certain things that women are not. And the implications on some of your actions are still different than women's. Even small things like hanging out with friends. Our curfews are way different. The way we dress is way different. How we talk and what we talk about in public is way different, you know?
Yes. And I always used to say this, is the worst place to be a woman is planet Earth. The second place, maybe the Middle East.
Well, you said it in Derriere on
I think we can end it right here. I could just go.
I did, because you have a lot of social expectation, and really,
it's true.
To be honest,
it's true. You know, because back in my study days, I studied politics, and in my classroom, we would always trigger these questions, especially as political students, right? The idea of freedom, liberalism, individual liberalism, or group liberalism, like so many liberalism in it. And you would be shocked that the basic average Arab does not believe in the basic human rights.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He wasn't taught to.
Exactly. So when you walk into school and you would assume that he would know that a woman is a human and she has the choice to make her own decision, you'd be like, we don't even need to negotiate that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then he'd be like, no, absolutely not. You know, she stays at home, her job is to have the kids, and she should not even leave the house. And I'm like, whoa. You know, you're what are you, like a senior?
But here's what's happening. Here's what's worse. And this is something I also witnessed myself, is that you'd have these men who are like, the woman cooks, the woman stays, she raises the kids, you have the babies. And then this guy is left without a job at some point in his life. And who does he expect to pick up his slack? His wife.
True.
Who's still expected to raise the kids, cook, come home, pick up after him, and he just sits there and waits for an opportunity, not makes one, but waits. How many women on an international scale, I'm not even going to the Middle East, everywhere. I've had women in the States call me and go, my husband hasn't had a job for 2 years and I'm picking up everything and I can't afford a nanny. What do I gotta do? And I'm like, leave him. It's been a couple of years.
If he ain't paying, he ain't staying.
No, it's not about paying, but it's a partnership. And if I'm the only partner in this partnership, then it's not about
But
you.
is it the rough days that make things last forever?
But it's about how you handle the rough days. If you're sitting back and you're expecting everyone to do the work for you, that's different. If I see you out there trying and you're not getting those opportunities, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
And if I come back home and you're with the kids and you're supporting and you're helping, that's also different. Rather than come back and you go, it's not for me. You pick up that shirt, you do that, whatever.
Then we blame society on this. We blame that.
Of course.
Ever since they were kids, it's fine. We make a lot of noise. Don't trip.
Okay.
We can edit that out.
Okay.
Sure. So we blame society for this because ever since they're kids, they're actually taught that you as a man, you're actually above a woman, and you should always boss her around. And somehow he sees that in the household where his dad's sitting there, like
Yes.
Maximus Alexandrus going
Yes.
down, to invade India and stuff like that.
Get me water. Get
me
this.
water, and طبعا inshallah bin Ami, all that,
Yeah.
So and he grows up with that mentality.
Yes.
Education doesn't help. Whether at university, social media doesn't help because he already blocks the information that contradicts with what he believes in. And if he goes to university and he hears other opinions, you know what they say? They'd be like, it's the West
Yes.
manipulating us.
It's not us.
They want to ruin the conservative household.
Yes.
I'm like, no. Even if you look into Islamic religion, if you look into the preaching in Islam, the true preaching in Islam, you would realize that a woman has a very high level of respect in the religion. But then
and independency.
And independency. A lot of women were actually merchants and fighters in Islam. If you go through that, the history, you would see these basic stuff, basic information. You know what I mean? But then he's like, no. So we would find a lot of triggering. And us as men that also believe in the idea of a woman being independent, we get attacked too. Really?
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes I say things and then I'd have my dad tell me, you have to be careful what that might imply on what your husband, and I'm like, it's first of all, I don't see how it affects him in any negative way that he's allowing his wife to be free. It means he's strong enough, and if he's intimidated by it, then that's a problem. And just because I'm free doesn't mean I'm gonna go around shooting everyone. I just want to have a voice.
Yeah.
And you're right, in many households you'll find the girl being told, come help me do the dishes. No, leave your brother, he doesn't have to do that. It's like small things.
True.
Like one time I asked my friends they have kids, and I'm like, if you had to give one piece of advice to your daughter and one piece of advice to your son before you leave this world, what would it be? And they sat there and they gave me, and I was like, I'm astonished that it's not the same piece of advice for both. Why are you telling the guy be this, be that, and telling most of the messaging behind the advice that you're giving these ladies is somehow that someday she has to find a husband and make a family. And that's not what you're telling him. You're telling him you have to be strong, you have to be independent, you have to support yourself and support your family. Why aren't you saying that to the women, especially these days? We have to be strong, we have to support our families, we have to be our husband's backbones. Why isn't the messaging the same?
That's very deep, Yama.
That's very deep.
Why isn't the message the same?
I don't know.
And it actually creates a very cold male population.
Yes.
This male population that hears this advice grows up emotionally unattached.
Yep.
He doesn't believe in relationships. He doesn't believe in comforting. He doesn't believe it doesn't even go to friendship. Forget about spouse.
Yes.
Right. And this what makes it really hard for you to actually touch their emotional side, because I tried doing that even in university throughout debates, and I'd be like, what about the sense of love? And when you say the word love, listen, 22 Arab countries were actually loveless. Really, as Arab men, I don't like to generalize, but I will.
Yeah, but there is a 23rd Arab country, but we are lovable, yeah.
No, but okay.
It's Palestine, by the way. Yeah.
Cheers to that. The idea of love is actually, it's a job. They believe that love doesn't happen naturally. A lot of them, because they're emotionless. Really, you created a high number of younger generation who feel nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this causes an issue. So I wanted to ask you also.
Yes.
When you're targeting a certain in this movement, are you targeting a certain ethnical group or like nationality or like
anyone who's going through this pain?
Yeah. So it's not just focused on the Middle East or like Arab women.
Oh, I've had a lot of people from the States just tell me that they're having issues taking care of their parents, and their brothers are out somewhere living their life and having their own corporate careers, and the girl has to stay home because she feels like her parents, you know, she owes them that because they've. And I'm like, why doesn't the brother? I'll tell you what. There's this girl who asked me first. She sent me a post with what she'd like to share with the movement, and I posted it. And a few days later, she messaged me. She said, please take the post down. My parents saw it. And the post was like that she's feeling lonely. She doesn't feel like she has the attention she needs from the family. And she's in this new place and she feels all alone. And she has a lot of issues growing up where she feels neglected. And of course, I took it off. I took the message off. But I was wondering, I was like, when I saw that message, besides asking her to take it down, did they ask her, are you okay? We're sorry. How can we fix this? I mean, if all you care about is your image, then you are not fixing the issue. Yep. Instead of telling her, take it off and we'll talk about it, or instead of helping her reach a stage where she can even write me back and tell me, thanks to this movement, or thanks to that message, my parents are now a bit more aware of the issues and we're having open communications. It's just everyone's always thinking about themselves. What about the
maybe
kids?
we have to close the windows before people see what's happening, and then let's talk about it.
True, yeah. They care about reputation more than the actual issue itself. Because a lot of people that started not the same movement as you, but like similar ideology of empowering women, they focused a lot on the Middle East, and especially the Arab world, because if we like to admit it or not, the world is in 2018 and we're kind of in the 1920s. You know what I mean? We got nice cars, but mentally no. But so they focus on this because it needs a lot of restructuring. There's a lot of gender roles, there's a lot of cultural expectations,
Yes, but sometimes I try to flip the coin.
Flip the coin.
Why should we win against society?
True, that's a
like shouldn't we just lose some battles?
But you've been losing all your life. You never won anything.
Exactly.
When did you ever win?
No, I mean, there's a lot of things. And you were talking about there's a lot of details that stress goes out. Let's say something that I believe in, like when you mentioned it, like don't laugh that way. A girl shouldn't sit down that way. And I think okay, those are developed etiquettes that maybe differ in cultures and places, but it's an etiquette. Even guys are not allowed to sit down some ways,
but it's too much control. I mean, when you're at such a young age, telling a girl so many things about what she can and can't do, she will grow up waiting for people to keep telling her what she can and can't do. Do you know what I mean? It's you're right. There are, like, for example, the way you dress when in Rome, right? Like, there are things you can wear in Saudi, you can't wear in the US States and whatever, but it's all about what kind of character are you built? Are you making her understand that it's why you're asking her to do these things, rather than just programming her to obey men, to obey society, to obey what is, where are these rules coming from? Where some rules make sense, you're right, but some rules don't. So there's a brain, you have to get it working.
They believe that, I had a question that I tweet a lot.
Okay.
I rarely get retweets back. They say I'm too critical.
Not really.
So I just tweet it for the sake of the tweet. You know what I mean?
You should.
Hopefully I'll change your life somewhere.
Okay.
But what I always ask is, do we really affect society, or society affects us? Are we actually? Do we have the power as individuals to actually shape societies? But a lot of philosophers, thinkers throughout history, they believe that society is stronger than the individual. You know what I mean? It's because if we look at what culture is, it doesn't happen overnight. Culture is some sort of a collection throughout history of, let's say, wars, natural disasters, religious institutes, and then also governance, or government. So all this, they gather up together and they create what sort of a culture is, right? And each culture, as we all know, is different than another. But how many individuals throughout history actually were able to change that? And individuals can change it instantly, but throughout a drastic or somehow a constant movement throughout the years, you can actually change that. Like if you look at feminism, for example, it started in the 19th century. It started earlier than the 19th century. So I'd say
I think the name came out in the 19th century.
It came out.
Feminism existed all over the.
It came out in the 19th century. It started off first of all in the French Revolution as a general human right thing.
Okay.
By the 19th century, it was somehow acknowledged. By the mid of the 20th century, women started rallying up. Western feminists started rallying up, and they started asking for equalization, started asking for equal rights. Just to move forward, it moved to the Middle East. And how it moved to the Middle East, it created a different gap between the Middle East and the West, because the same women that were asking for rights, it was different. Because the way Western feminism was asking for rights is different than Middle Eastern rights. And it's a different culture. You cannot ask for the same things that are happening there. Maybe you can ask for general things like, you know, equality,
voting,
but you cannot ask, for example, walking around the street naked. You know, because that's your right. Because then there's a lot of cultural, religious taboos that ban you from doing that. But also, a lot of the independency preaching created, and I wrote this about this before, it created a very harsh, cruel majority of women.
I mean,
the feminism or the femininity in the woman is somehow fading away. You know what I mean?
I can't say it's fake. I'll tell you, our biggest threat, I think, as people would like to call themselves feminists, even though I just think if you're asking for equal rights, then I don't think you should label it. But I think a lot of our issues to date is that you have women against women.
True.
That is, I mean, I have friends who their moms are like, men are bigger, men are better, men are smart. Till this day, very well-educated people, and
education doesn't mean shit. But
I know, but I'm saying. But you know, people who have traveled, people who have seen the world and seen how things operate, and you're still telling your girls that their brothers are more worthy of life, and that's not just ruining your next generations, and you're ruining the man that you're raising, and you're ruining the lives of the women that you're raising. So that's number one. But I definitely, to get back to your question, do I think society reflects on us? Do we reflect on it? I think it goes both ways. Look at the Middle East now. For example, I'll tell you, look at Egypt. 20 years ago, first time I'd been there after coming back from New Zealand, dating was really unacceptable. Like, the girl that was allowed to date, she will never find a husband in her life. Even if she's 12 and she's dating, they'll remember till she's 30 that she dated this guy. And then 5 or 10 years later,
everybody's dating.
So there are a lot of changes. The way we used to look at divorce, the way we used to look at women who don't have children. Like, until today, you sometimes want to be honest and tell people ask you, when are you going to have a family? And there's a little voice inside of you that wants to scream out, I don't know if I want one or not. But then you have to go, soon inshallah. Soon inshallah. And it's not just here. I just read an article today for this journalist in The Guardian. Her name is Katie Linman. First time I'd heard of her. And the title is, I'm a feminist, but why do I still feel like a loser for not being fertile? Something like that. And I'm like, it's everywhere. Women are feeling this pain everywhere. She can't bear children, and she feels like she's useless. She's not doing everything society expects and wants from her. So I really think, even if it's just one person, there's a ripple effect, the butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. The one person, persistency, someone else will find that message. They'll carry it on. That's why I always say, people are like, you don't have that many followers, your message. I'm like, I don't care about the followers. I just need one person to convey my message to someone else, and so on.
I think good ideas need time to marinate.
Correct.
Because as you said, society maybe doesn't always need a shock, but it needs to be trained somehow. And
injected slowly, ideas, yes.
And society, just to go back to that, I do agree on the fact that things are always on constant change. If you look back 30 years, a lot of things change, you know. Especially if we look at Sudan. Sudan was one of the first countries, or the second country in the region that founded feminism. And there was a lot of demands at the beginning. If you look at it, there were basic demands. Just the idea of women going to get education. And then it developed throughout history, and the idea of dating was also a taboo. And now, you can actually walk into the house and be like, Dad, I met this guy in university and he wants to marry him. And I believe modernization or modernization itself or civilization, it's a stronger tool than all the conventional cultures.
Yes.
The idea of a conservative rural culture is being destructed.
Yeah.
If you wait 20 years from now, I don't think there's anything going to be considered conservatism.
Yeah.
Because humans are actually walking towards modernization, and modernization is something you cannot control. It started from the day humanity exists.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, all I just wanted to say that people need to understand the differences in terminology. The idea of also, because a lot of feminists and a lot of anti-feminists created brutal parties towards each other,
Yep.
emotionless individuals and emotionless genders towards
Yeah.
each other. If you're a woman and you're asking a woman to be independent, that's her right.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to give it to her. But at the same time, don't teach her to hate men. Don't
Yeah, of
teach her
course.
to believe in the idea that she can live life without a significant other.
Yeah.
No, because you're contradicting not the human nature, but you're contradicting
The dominant culture. Or
not dominant. I don't. You're contradicting the idea of existence.
I understand, but
You know what I mean?
sometimes there are people who, well, it's not like you're trying to convince her with anything. There's this. There's a lot of women who end up being married and being with people because they're too afraid to be alone.
True.
Because they think time's gonna run out and I didn't achieve life's main goal, which is
have a husband.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is not true. I would rather be alone than be with someone and be miserable.
Of course.
And I've experienced that before, and it was hell. But you don't want them to hate anyone. You just want them to learn to love themselves enough to be able to give that love back in the right
True.
way.
I totally
can't love
agree.
my kids or my husband or my mother or my father if I don't love me.
Of course.
That's yeah.
isn't it the stories that we used to have as kids? Like always, the girl is waiting for the
To be
prince.
saved.
By the prince.
I don't know, man. I got on my horse every day. I'm riding around the streets. You
Yeah.
Nobody's looking for you.
know what I mean?
He should be a
But it's
prince.
true.
Yeah.
And those messages are really serious though, because we're all thinking, which prince is your favorite? Snow White's prince. No, it's Cinderella. And then but nobody's going, what if he hadn't shown up? What's Snow White gonna do? She's dead.
I gotta blame Disney Warner Brothers for that. They never made a bald-headed prince. You know what I mean? It's always this guy with the silky long hair and.
Yeah. Or why is
And the
why is-
horse, يعني.
Why
Couldn't we
aren't we
have
doing
just
the saving?
a 1962 Camaro or something?
Or Nissan.
Can't just have a Nissan or
Yeah,
just,
Nissan.
can't we
You
have
guys are missing the
a
message.
Prince Charming with
Okay.
He's wearing Zara or something like that.
who's wear, yeah,
But yeah.
You're
who
right.
has his shirt tucked in
Exactly.
with glasses.
Exactly.
His
Couldn't
name
we
is
have
Shohdi.
Clark Kent as Superman without being Superman,
Yeah.
muscular? Just be Clark Kent with the suit, with the
With the
glasses.
belly.
Yeah, with the papers.
You
and
watch
save the
Netflix when
world.
you go home because
Yeah.
you're bored.
Yeah.
You're lifeless. You're a lifeless superhero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gotta be extravagant and all extraordinary. I wish we could do
But
that.
I get what you mean. You're trying to say that you
Yes.
wanted superheroes who are like everyday men. Not the
True.
ones
Yeah,
who-
couldn't
True.
have.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Have you heard of
want.
Mowatir Man, by the way?
Who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Waterman?
Mowatir Man.
She doesn't drive. She said she doesn't drive.
You don't drive?
Drive.
It's the superhero of Qatar. He saves cars.
Oh, I didn't.
We had a show with him.
Oh, okay.
No, really, he's actually an actual superhero. He does not wear a cape.
Oh, wait. Were you talking about? I think I saw this.
Yeah.
He was. I think he's bald with the
See, with the-
goatee.
yeah,
Yes.
see?
But you guys got too technical for me. I'm just more about what is the color of the car, and I'm not very.
And you really hear
with
noise when he
mechanics.
walks in, like, like you can hear it in the back.
Oh,
But yeah, let's not drift away from that.
no worries.
Big shout outs to
Trying to
Mowatir
save
Man.
women now.
Trying to save women. The hero of all women.
Well, thank you.
Come on, man. Yeah, bro.
All right. Okay.
Awkward silence for a second.
I hate. You know which awkward silence I hate the most? The one in elevators.
Yeah?
Yes, it's like.
I
You
usually
know how I
give dead
break an
serious.
awkward silence? How do you break an awkward silence, Ahmed?
Me?
Yes.
I comment on something weird about them.
Really?
Yeah, and I make them feel more weird, and then I make them laugh it out. Like I met this one girl once, and she had a horrible dress, and I think she knew she had a horrible dress.
Oh no.
And I was like, "What the hell are you wearing?" And
Oh no, you
like, what do you-
didn't.
swear to God, I was like, "Were you going to a cocktail party?" And stuff.
What did she do?
She was like, "What?"
He was like, a stranger is giving me fashion advice.
Yeah, well,
Please.
definitely give you fashion advice, but then I was like, and then we actually kicked it.
Okay. That's good. If
she's
she was
like-
having a bad day, that would have not been her reaction.
Halfway, she's like, you know, you're really all right. I'm wearing a horrible dress. I was like, I told you.
Oh, she admitted it.
You did admit it. You can tell if you're confident about your outfit or not.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know?
You can smell it.
You can smell it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
How
true.
do you break an awkward silence?
I just make it more awkward.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I would say something like, "So how's your day going?" And he'd
That's
be like,
a conversation opener.
yeah. If they don't respond, that's not good.
What about you? What do you do?
Like, let's have a. I learned the
I'm gonna
strict
like
back in school, you know. And I used to do the strict back in school.
like
huh?
this.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
it's like this. Okay, let's have an awkward silence.
Okay.
Good.
And
You did not. Did you ever really do that?
a lot of them. I even do it at work, you know. Like, and
I'm gonna try that tomorrow in an elevator
Yeah.
at
I
work
do it
and see how that
everywhere,
turns
yeah.
out.
I even do it
Did you
in a
make
radio.
friends?
Yeah.
Did you ever make friends off of doing something like that?
Yeah, I made friends embarrassed.
How many minutes we got? 20? All right. Okay, so I wanted to also ask you a question. I'm going to do a lot of audio editing because of you, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you killed me.
Because of my singing voice, you know.
You're begging.
Yeah,
That's
begging.
good. It's good.
By the way, did you guys know J-Lo's coming to town?
Yeah, JLo's going to town. And
No.
she's gonna be
On
in
Thursday. She's going to be opening Qatar Festival City.
Oh,
Doha Festival.
really?
Doha Festival City.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like her.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenny from the
Don't be-
block.
I still listen to that song.
Yeah? Yeah.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got.
I'm still Jenny from the block. Yeah.
Used to have a little, know how I lie. Know where I go, know I belong. Yeah.
Those are not the words, but okay.
I know what I belong. Something
You're one
like
of those people that sings the wrong words. I'm figuring
It's the
it out.
Mumbles it so you don't catch him.
But he's really good.
It's the mumble rap era,
The
guys.
mumble rap era.
Gotcha.
At least I have flow, huh?
You definitely do.
And confidence.
But we should definitely check it out. If you guys are around, go check it out. If you're a fan of J-Lo.
Yes.
However, I wanted to ask you, do you feel like men have a slot in your movement?
Of course. I've had.
I mean, look at us. Don't you feel sad for us a bit?
Right now I do.
Can't we empower other men?
Yes.
Can we empower?
I have had guys who didn't necessarily reach out to say I'm going through the same thing, but they've either said I feel
Oh,
like
we
my
don't
wife
bother, so.
is struggling and she might be too shy to talk, or I've had just guys saying kudos for the movement.
Okay.
We like the idea. So of course it's open to anyone who feels that kind of pressure.
Yeah, I think it doesn't happen this way. I think men are often out like, guys, how can I get my wife to go out and leave me watch the game?
Much more serious issues.
Yeah, it's like much more serious. Guys. How can I? The other day I had a friend. He's a newly married, and he was like, Ahmed, how can I get my wife to learn something that keeps her like a hobby? Like
Keeps her
like
busy.
a hobby. Like,
Busy,
like,
yeah.
Like and he wants her to make money.
That's not a bad thing.
It's like, give her a hobby. I want her to work with something that she loves. Yeah,
Okay, why doesn't he sit and talk with her?
yeah, but
That
he was-
doesn't exist, by the way.
He wanted such. Yeah,
Just saying.
Because some people don't communicate, that's true.
yeah, that's true. He wanted
Yes.
to go and suggest things, but he didn't know what to suggest. Yeah.
You know,
I don't know, like-
a friend of mine back in the day was telling me that he went to his grandpa and he was like, Dad, Grandpa, you know, I really want an open-minded woman. He's like, open-minded lesh? Why do you want an open-minded woman? Why do you need to conversate aslan? I swear to God, and I was like, what? He's like, he was serious, like, you don't need to conversate. Khalas, ahlan, how was your day? And that's it. That's it. Have friends. You know what I mean?
Conversate with them.
Conversate with them. You don't need to conversate. And I was like, definitely, I don't want to ask him. But it's fine. We know what era that's from.
Yeah.
What do you think? What kind of cases that came across your like any traumas? Any
Traumas.
like what's the average case?
Like, do you tackle each aspect as alone, like work stress, let's say, like work stress, or if there is any special
Yep.
case that you think is worth mentioning? Because
Yeah, well, definitely the girl that her parents asked her to take that photo down, that was for me an eye-opener going, oh, they're still trying to shut some of us up. Also,
Who keeps calling you? You're a busy man. What do you press for this?
X.
Yeah, perfect. You're a busy man.
so I'll tell you, the common cases is where a lot of women are reaching out to me
Can we zoom in from the screen?
saying that, hold on.
It's fine. I don't think we can. All right. No worries. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Producer. All right.
A lot of women are reaching out to me, but they're not necessarily discussing their struggles right now, but how they were, because a lot of them are going, how did I come about to where I am now, where I'm feeling so pressured to do all these things? So they could be like, my mom used to tell me I need to look like this and weigh like this. My dad used to tell me. So there's a lot of referencing to how they were raised and how they were brought up. There's of course a lot of people complaining about taking care of their parents at an old age, which is
that's horrible. How could you? I'm sorry.
It's not
what you should do, Yama.
No. You should definitely take care of your parents, but it's really them saying, I have brother siblings who don't feel the same need, and I'm carrying the load by myself.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of women are talking about body perception. I can't do it all. I can't be perfect. I can't work out this much. I can't have this body. I can't look like this, because you'll find a girl that lost weight, and you'll have everyone going, how did you do it? But not why did you do it? How are you feeling?
What pressure, like you?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like where is this coming from? Are you staying fit, staying healthy? There's not enough genuine talk. So a lot of them also would just, this was crazy. I got so many messages where they're like, we love the movement. Keep it up. And I'll be like, okay, share something. Share a message so I can share with the rest of the team. And they're like, will do. And it's just shh.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's my biggest concern right now is I need to break that barrier. I need them to talk to each other. Stop talking to me directly. I want you to talk to each other. So
that's hard actually. That's very hard.
Do you do gather-ups?
I want to. I just started it, so I might. They've asked me for one when I visit Egypt. If I have enough followers, of course, in Doha, who want me to do a meetup, I would love to. But I just want to know that they will show up and be there for each other, and I just want to create that sense of community first before we go out. So it's hard because they just want to swipe. It's a very kind of,
you joined the crowd actually.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, do you know how many girls asked me, when I first launched it, and I was like, I can't do it all, this, and the girls would be like, hey, listen, sorry, where is that sweater from that you're wearing? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, was that jacket Prada, by the way?
Yeah.
Was it a Prada?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's from And Other Stories, and maybe you say something useful about the movement, but no, it's just programmed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is
by the way, we get a lot of those comments. Like, for example, we'd bring a person to the show and there'd be deep talking and stuff like that, and they'd be like, God damn, she cute. You need to bring more of those. And I'm like, did you actually just listen to anything she said? He's like, no, but we like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and this is what we're gonna get today. Comments be like, you know what? That's a cute girl. Please bring more.
Well, if you had a brain, she'd be interested.
That's the thing.
If you talk like that, she's never gonna.
But then you get that 1% that bumps into you randomly in Qatar and be like, you know what?
All over the world, I tell you.
I'm just saying Qatar because I ran into one of those a couple of days, and he's like, you know what? You really touched me, and I'm like, thank you. He's like, I love it. And tell Shahada you're funny, and I was like,
yeah, funny, thank you.
But it's
You get those 1 out of 10. But
no,
it's
there are
good.
quite a lot in my but because I think I set up my own personal account based on the fact that there's modeling and fashion, all that. But when you're talking about issues that are serious, you expect some serious talk.
True.
You do.
I think also Instagram is just not very serious based. Like,
I think if someone goes to Instagram to know about the cool jackets, and you really were having a cool jacket.
Thank you. It's my favorite. The leather jacket.
Yes.
I think that was Zara. Yeah.
Yeah, Zara always
there's no shame of Zara.
I love Zara.
Zara always makes better stuff for women, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah, the material and the cuts are nicer.
The quality is okay.
They just give you, for men, they just give you something that looks like Gucci, but it's not Gucci, but it's somehow a little bit unironed, and they'll be like, here you go.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's good. I like Zara too.
Okay.
I buy a lot from Zara. Just saying, I'm criticizing you, just in case. You know what I mean? You need to work on it. Criticizing to build a better brand. What was I saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, where do you see a future for this movement?
Well,
I studied you up, by the way. I sat there and I'm like, started some notes. I'm like, all right.
What kind of notes?
Here you go.
Do you want to start? What movement do you want to start?
I'm actually working on a movement. I want to build a community of bald men. You know what I mean? I want to call it Shahimania for some reason.
Well, there is a community for bald men who try to get some hair.
Yeah.
How did that work?
A lot of research.
Still
and
researching.
A lot of money. Yeah.
Still researching. But yeah, do you really? What do you see a movement? What's the future plans for?
I want to see it just move forward. I don't know if it's gonna grow, and I don't know if it's gonna stay the same. I'm gonna keep working hard to make sure that there's still conversation, and I don't know what I see for it. I just, when I started it, I just did out of a lot of anger and disappointment. So, but I don't want to keep it afloat based on that. I really have to make an effort now to get them to talk to me, because they stay really quiet. They're very observant.
Yeah.
Don't you think that, because I see a lot of other women who are doing kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
don't you think collaboration is
I
good?
would love to. I don't mind collaboration. I don't mind someone taking the idea, going
Because
on a
yeah,
bigger
because
scale.
not everybody says I cannot do it all, or nobody is really tackling the specific
Yes.
struggles you talk
Yes.
about. But I think women like zoom out a little bit, and you will have a larger community.
It's for me. I don't mind if it's going to send a message across a wider scale of people, but for me, it's the movement isn't. And I don't necessarily want it to become a one-time hit where it goes and then dies. I really want the messaging. I can't do it all. Be very clear. I don't want it to be just swollen up by a bigger feminist movement, and it gets lost in translation. So I really want to keep the identity.
I think also you are reaching to a new people who haven't experienced.
Yes, and it's hard. I'm telling you, a lot of women they wrote me back and said, "Why don't you change the name of the movement?" And it's not about not doing it all. It's about doing it all, but on a daily basis, doing
Or like,
different things. And
do what you like, do what you love.
but that's not the message.
Yeah.
You know, there are millions of messages saying, follow your dreams, stick to what you love, believe in yourself. But there's not one message saying it's okay to admit you can't do it all.
Of course.
This is what the movement is. You know?
That's the thing. Social media and also all these social media celebs are creating what is so-called superhuman, that believe that he can fully look dressed and nice all the time.
Do you
perfect
know?
skin,
I have a couple of fashionistas or whatever you call influencers I'm following, and I'm gonna unfollow them because they set really high fake expectations, and they send out all these be yourself, be positive, be confident, but they're all plastic. Now, if you choose to go plastic, that's fine, but then don't sit here and talk to a woman that's trying to not have anything done to her at all and stay that way.
Yeah.
If you're nipping and tucking and then going on saying, this is all me, I work really hard, no. It's not
Isn't
fair.
that Instagram, that it has a narrow window to your life that shows only you
Yes.
happy
You
with
show
filters?
you show, which is part of what I study in journalism, is the person with the lens is the person that shows you what they want you to see.
Yes,
Yeah.
and people were talking about, they call it social media stress.
Yeah.
It's like when you open Instagram or social media and you see all other people happy, and you see, oh, they all look good, and they look
They're
good.
traveling and
Oh
they're
my God,
eating
they're
this
traveling.
and they're yes.
Actually, it's not. It's not. People shouldn't be programmed or be like affected by this,
Yes.
because it's like opening a magazine. Instagram is a
But
magazine.
you're thinking, you're trusting these people that they're real because they're saying they're real.
Yes.
But they're not showing you behind the scenes, the team that's helping them, the doctors they're going to, the support. They're showing you, hey, it's a one-man show, when really it's not.
True.
Yeah.
And it also, but look, I could just disagree a bit.
Tell me.
Because I'm a big fan of social media. I believe that social media brought the truth to the
Me
table.
too. I agree.
As much as it created a lot of
Yes,
false
yes.
images, but it brought the truth to the table.
Yes, I agree.
It helped also a lot of people connect together, such as this.
I agree.
It got a lot of ideas to come out, and it made a lot of people free.
Yes,
You know
I
what I
agree,
mean?
including myself.
True.
I agree. I just
True.
think you have to be careful.
Yeah, you just have to know
Yes.
and differentiate what is true and what is not. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
think
Yes.
be aware of the negative things that happen, because
Yes.
it's so easy just to have this idea that, oh,
I agree.
everybody's normal. Maybe I just have to travel. I don't need to post about it. I don't need to take the perfect
need to
picture.
prove anything.
Yes,
So,
no
yeah.
need to prove anything.
Yes.
Well, we got 5 minutes, so any last things you want to say?
No.
Because I don't want to feel like we didn't know the real you still, you know? So if you got 2 minutes,
No.
I'm going to pretend I'm drinking my fake coffee and I'm listening to you.
No, you guys.
And it's going to be like 60 minutes. This is Ed Bradley. Tick, tick,
No,
tick,
you
tick.
guys
That's a good
asked
one. Is that
great
caramel?
questions.
That's caramel macchiato, yeah.
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You sure?
Really, it's been a pleasure and an honor, and thank you to everyone who's watching. And you got to know the real me. I'm here.
That's awesome. Actually, if anyone else wants to know the real Amira,
Yep.
go to I can't do it all
Yes. Yes.
and follow, communicate, discuss,
Yes.
share.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you.
And until we meet
Shaheen has
again.
to do that. I was saying Shaheen has to do that also personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely will. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be hearing more of me.
Yes. You already follow me.
I do. Yeah, I already follow you. I'm a big supporter, man.
Yeah.
Until we meet again, which is going to be on Saturday. This is Ed Bradley signing out.
This is Johnny Machon happening. It's
Take care.
And it was I had the podcast.